questions where you have to factor, but I feel like you all are doing much better with factoring. So looking at this question, what is your first step whenever you factor? What do you have to look for first? GCF. Step one, you always start by looking for a GCF. So what is my GCF? What can I take out of all three terms? It's not a number, it's an X. So that's your first step. Take out the X, which is going to change that to x squared minus 5x minus 6. Okay. So now this is your A, your B, and your C. Make your X. You take A times C. Put that on the top. Put the B on the bottom. That's why I had to change it, because we don't have numbers that multiply to -6 and add to -2. But we do have numbers that multiply to -6 and add to -5. So let's find your two numbers. They multiply to give you -6. But when you add them, you get -5. Two numbers that multiply to give you -6, but add to give you a -5. All right, what would be my numbers? -6 and +1. Good job. Now, if it only asks you to factor, then that would be it. I'm done. That's my factors. But it asks me to do one more step. It says solve it. So in order to solve it, I have to set these factors equal to 0. So I'm going to take the x, set that equal to 0, x minus 6, set that equal to 0, and x plus 1. So I'm looking for 3 answers. So go ahead and solve those 3. So I have to add the 6. So that tells me x equals 6. And then I have to subtract the 1. So that's x equals -1. So there are 3 answers though. These are my 3 answers: 0, 6, and -1. And those will be my 3 answers. Any questions about today's Bell work? So those of you who were absent yesterday, we did talk about box plots. I'm going to just give you a chance to copy down not to copy down, take a picture, because we got to move on. This page, this is page 5, and then fill in those definitions later. So yesterday we started talking about box plots. We made a couple yesterday. So now let's do a few more. So let's go to page 7. And all we're going to do here is answer the questions about these box plots. So remember, when you have a box plot, this would be my minimum. This here, this is LQ, which could also be called Q1. So LQ and Q1, they're the same thing. Let me write that a little neater. This could be your LQ, or we could call it Q1. In the middle, this is my median, which can also be called Q2. The edge of the box is my upper quartile, which could be called Q3. And then at the very, very far right is my max. So we have 2 different box plots. I just want you to look at the box plot and fill in these 5 numbers. So looking here, the minimum would be what?
8.
For the first one, no, that you're looking at the second one, the bottom one. We're looking at the top one. So looking at the top one, the minimum is 6. And then what would be my lower quartile or my Q1? So this is 6, because if you look at the number line, this comes down to be about 6 here. This looks like it's what? I would say 14 for Q1. The median looks like that's about 20. Q3 is really in between. It's like 22 and a half, but we could say 22. And you could do that on the test. You can round it or approximate it. And then the max was close to 27. All right, do the same thing for the second box plot underneath it. Go ahead and fill in. Now this will be my min. This is my Q1. The middle line, that's your median. This is Q3, and this is max. So take a minute, fill in those 5 numbers. So the minimum, go ahead and look at this one here, the purple one. So Terencio, what do you think this number is right here on my number line? 8. So that would be my minimum. Jeffrey, what about here? What's my Q1? 11. Libby, what would be my median? 17. Nikeen, what would be my Q3? 20. Carmelo, what would be my max? 28. That's it. So you have to be able to look at a box plot and extract those 5 numbers. All right, so let's go ahead and practice making a couple box plots. So let's look at example 4. First thing we have to do is put the numbers in order. Let's put them in order from smallest to largest. So if I put them in order, 8, and I always cross them out as I go. And then 9, do we have any 10s? Nope. We do have an 11. We don't see a 12. What's our next number? 14. All right, after 14, 17. After 17, we don't have any 20s. Oh, we got a 29. Oh, I missed the number. Thank you. 23. Then 29. And then after 29, 30. And then we got 2 32s, so we got to write that twice. And then 39. So what I like to do, because you see how I almost dropped the number, is I like to count and make sure that I have the same amount of numbers. So when I'm counting, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now let's count and make sure we still have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that would be your, now it's in order. So now that it's in order, we can answer the 5-number summary. The lowest number in the list is 8. That's my minimum. The highest number in the list is 39. All right, now figure out what number is in the middle. Don't say it out loud, but figure out what number is in the middle of the list. Oh, and as I do it, I usually draw my line. So let me go ahead and draw a line at 8. Put a line at 8 and put your line at 39. So what number is in the middle? Directly in the middle. What you come up with? 23. Anybody else get 23? All right, so 23, I'm going to circle that number. That's my Q2. Then I'm going to draw me a line at 23. All right, so now I'm taking that 23 out. So looking at these numbers only the numbers that you see highlighted in pink, what would be the median of those 5 numbers? 11. So 11, that's my Q1. Let me go ahead and draw me a line at 11. And then when I go to the other side, because this is the lower half and this is the upper half. So when I look at these numbers, oops. Okay. Pen difficulty. There we go. All right. When I look at these numbers, that would be the upper half. So what's the median of those numbers that you see highlighted in purple? What number is in the middle? 32. So that would be my Q3. Go ahead and make a little line at 32. So you should have 5 lines. That's why it's called a 5-number summary. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The middle 3, you make a box. And then you just draw a line attaching those two to the box. Some people call this a box and whisker plot. All right, let's go to the next page. We just have to answer some questions. We got the incubation time for a canary, a dove, a myna, a pigeon, a parakeet, a raven, a chicken, a cockatoo, a peafowl, a turkey, a swan, and a Muscovy duck. That's a lot. So they looked at the incubation time and they created a box and whisker plot. So this is asking you for the first quartile. So you have to be able to look at this box plot and figure out, because one of these 5 is Q1. So let me go ahead and label these. A, B, C, D, E. All right, which point is my Q1? In this box, is it A, B, C, D, or E? Who says it's A? Who says B? Who says C? D? E? It is B. This is your first quartile. So this here, we got to kind of come down to the number line. That looks like that's about 16 days. So that would be my first quartile. Okay, the maximum. Which point is the maximum? Who says A? B? C? D? E? It is E. Good job. E would be the maximum. So when I'm looking at E, that looks like it's about what? What would you say that is? How many days is the maximum? 35 days. Good. All right, lastly, the median. Which one is the median? Is it A? Who says A? B? C? It is C. C is the median. It's the middle. So looking at that, if I go to my number line, it looks like that's close to 20. Or maybe, wait, is it 21 or 20? 21. Who says 20? Who says 21? Okay, I'm going to say 21. 20 or 21 I would take. Or I would also take 20.5. So 21 days. All right. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do number 6 by yourself. Start off by putting the numbers in order. Put the numbers in order. And you should have 9 numbers after you put it in order. So after you put them in order, make sure you count to make sure you still have 9 numbers. Find the max, the min, and the median. And we could talk about the Q1, lower quartile, and upper quartile together. If it's 2 in the middle, you add them and divide by 2. Or you just ask yourself what number is in the middle of 16 and 18. So. All right, so after I put them in order, this was my new list. The lowest number was 15. I'm gonna go ahead and make me a line at 15. The highest number is 32. Let me make me a line at 32. What number is in the middle? 24. Who agrees that it's 24? Kyron says 24 is in the middle. Raise your hand if you think it's 24 in the middle. All right, so 24 is the middle. I'm going to draw me a line. So I'm going to take that 24 out, though. Okay, so now this is my lower half. Now, if you look at this lower half, notice that there are 2 numbers in the middle. So what you have to figure out is the middle of the middle. So what number would be in the middle of 16 and 18? 17. 17. So your lower quartile is 17. So you are actually going to take, to find your Q, your LQ, you would just add 16 plus 18 and then divide it by 2. That's how you get 17. Let's go ahead and draw me a line at 17. And then when I look at the upper half, which is this one here, I got 2 numbers in the middle, right? The numbers I have in the middle are 28 and 30. So to find the upper quartile, if you don't know what it is, you would add 28 plus 30 divided by 2. So what number is in the middle of 28 and 30? 29. Draw me a line right there. Now, the middle 3, we're going to connect these to make a box. And then we just draw the whisker. All right, so let's talk about IQR and range. Just a reminder, to find your IQR, you're going to subtract the upper quartile minus the lower quartile, or Q3 minus Q1. So when I'm looking at the data that I came up with, the upper quartile is 29. The lower quartile is 17. So what is 29 minus 17. So that means that 12 is my IQR. Now, I didn't ask you for range, but I want you to add it in there. Let's also write the range, just the regular range. To find the regular range, that's your highest number minus your lowest number. So in this example, my highest number was 32, and my lowest number is 15. So go ahead and see what you get when you subtract 32 minus 15. And I believe that's 17. Is that 17? All right, so that we had to add in. So now don't put away your notes because I'm going to have you write down some definitions for tomorrow so we don't have to write them down tomorrow. But let's talk about the homework, which is due tomorrow. Homework 1 is due tomorrow. Your first step is to put them in order, okay? Notice that I did not number these. So you have to number them. So you might want to start this one. You might want to say like this is 305. And then you might want to start at a number and just count by twos. I don't really care how you do it. But you do have to label your axes so I'll know what you're counting by. It's going to be different based upon the numbers. So look at your numbers, figure out your highest and lowest number, and then figure out where to start counting. All right, that is due tomorrow. You have 3 box plots. All right, so now before you put away your books, go to page or your packet, go to page 9. I just want you to copy down these definitions. We'll go over it together tomorrow. We'll talk about this more tomorrow, but just use the rest of the class period to copy down definitions for page 9 in your packet. Tomorrow we're going to talk about probability.